In the ever-turbulent world of celebrity scandals, few stories have captured the public's imagination quite like the recent bombshell dropped by Ashton Kutcher. Known for his comedic roles and charming personality, Kutcher has now stepped into the spotlight, not as an actor but as a whistleblower, unveiling a clip that threatens to redefine everything we thought we knew about Sean Diddy Combs and his infamous FREAKOFFS. The video, which resurfaced under mysterious circumstances, has sent shockwaves through Hollywood, reigniting discussions about exploitation, power dynamics, and the dark underbelly of fame. For years, whispers about Diddy's extravagant parties dubbed FREAKOFFS have circulated in insider circles, with allegations ranging from debauchery to outright criminal activity. These gatherings, often held at lavish estates, were said to blur the lines between celebration and coercion, leaving attendees scarred both physically and emotionally. But until now, concrete evidence remained elusive, allowing Diddy's empire to thrive unchallenged. Enter Ashton Kutcher, whose decision to leak this explosive footage suggests he may know far more about these events than he's ever let on. The clip itself is brief yet chilling, capturing a seemingly innocuous moment during the 2003 MTV Movie Awards. In it, Diddy approaches a young actress who had just won Best Villain for her role in The Ring, none other than 13-year-old Davy Chase, and extends an invitation to join him at an after-party. At first glance, the exchange might appear harmless enough, a charismatic mogul celebrating a rising star. However, viewed through the lens of recent allegations, the interaction takes on a sinister undertone. Was this merely a gesture of goodwill, or was it something far more calculated? What makes Kutcher's involvement particularly intriguing is the context in which he came forward. Once celebrated as the mischievous mastermind behind Punk Kutch, Kutcher has spent much of his career poking fun at unsuspecting celebrities. Yet here he is, decades later, grappling with the fallout from his own associations with figures embroiled in controversy. Friends close to Kutcher describe him as visibly shaken, torn between loyalty to old friendships and a moral obligation to expose the truth. His admission that he feels manipulated raises questions about how deep his ties to Diddy truly ran, and whether he too witnessed horrors he chose to ignore at the time. As the video spreads across social media platforms, reactions run the gamut from outrage to disbelief. Hashtags like #DamnExposedDiddy and Justice for Minors dominate trending lists, reflecting growing demands for accountability. Advocacy groups seize the opportunity to amplify calls for legislative changes aimed at protecting young performers, emphasizing the urgent need for systemic safeguards capable of preventing future tragedies. Meanwhile, skeptics dismiss the clip as inconclusive, arguing that without additional corroboration, it risks becoming another sensationalized footnote in the annals of celebrity gossip. Yet, what sets this revelation apart is its timing, with Diddy currently facing multiple lawsuits including charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and prostitution. The leaked footage arrives at a critical juncture. Legal experts suggest that while the video alone may not constitute definitive proof, it could serve as a valuable piece of a larger puzzle, bolstering existing cases against the music mogul. More importantly, it underscores a broader pattern of behavior that critics argue cannot be ignored any longer. Behind the scenes, tensions simmer as those implicated scramble to contain the damage. Sources report frantic phone calls, deleted files, and covert meetings among Diddy's inner circle, painting a picture of desperation as they attempt to shield their leader from impending ruin. For Kutcher, the stakes are equally high. By aligning himself with accusers, he risks alienating powerful allies and jeopardizing lucrative business ventures tied to his Hollywood connections. Nevertheless, his willingness to speak out signals a turning point, a moment when silence becomes complicity and speaking up becomes survival. To fully grasp the significance of this unfolding drama, one must delve deeper into the specific claims surrounding Diddy's alleged misconduct. According to insiders, these FREAKOFFS were less about revelry and more about control, serving as elaborate setups designed to exploit vulnerable participants. Rumors abound of underage boys and girls being brought into these environments under false pretenses, subjected to unspeakable acts meant to humiliate and degrade them further. Some accounts even describe bizarre rituals involving animals and occult practices, raising disturbing parallels to other high-profile scandals implicating influential figures in human trafficking networks. Adding another layer of horror to the narrative are allegations concerning surveillance tactics allegedly employed by Diddy during these gatherings. Former attendees claim that cameras and recording devices were strategically placed throughout venues, documenting every aspect of proceedings ostensibly for blackmail purposes. This material reportedly served dual functions, ensuring compliance from victims fearful of exposure and leveraging it as leverage against rivals within the industry. If true, such revelations would corroborate long-standing suspicions about Diddy's penchant for manipulation, offering tangible proof of his alleged crimes. Central to this saga is the question of why Kutcher chose this moment to break his silence. Friends suggest that mounting pressure from recent exposés played a significant role, citing his resignation from Thorn, an anti-child trafficking non-profit he co-founded with ex-wife Demi Moore, as indicative of internal conflict over past associations. Others speculate that personal guilt drove him to act, haunted by memories of witnessing abuses he failed to address earlier. Whatever the motivation, Kutcher's decision to step forward places him squarely in the crosshairs of a battle poised to reshape the entertainment landscape forever. As anticipation builds for Kutcher's formal statement, speculation runs rampant about what exactly he plans to unveil. Will it confirm long-standing suspicions about Diddy's criminal enterprises, or will it introduce entirely new dimensions to an already staggering narrative? Whatever the outcome, one thing remains undeniable: the courage demonstrated by survivors choosing to defy fear serves as a beacon of hope, a reminder that even in darkness, light can prevail when voices unite in pursuit of justice. And so, as the world holds its breath awaiting answers, the stage is set for a confrontation that promises to redefine notions of accountability, integrity and redemption forevermore. The ripple effects of Ashton Kutcher's leaked clip extend far beyond the immediate scandal, sending shockwaves through Hollywood and reshaping perceptions of power dynamics within the entertainment industry. Industry insiders report a palpable shift in attitudes, with figures from all echelons of the business voicing concerns about the unchecked influence wielded by moguls like Diddy and demanding greater transparency and accountability. This reckoning comes at a critical juncture as audiences grow increasingly disillusioned with the glossy facades presented by celebrities and corporate entities alike, yearning instead for authenticity and ethical conduct. One of the most immediate impacts has been a surge in advocacy for stronger protections for artists, particularly those early in their careers who are often vulnerable to exploitation. Prominent voices within the music community have begun pushing for legislative changes aimed at curbing predatory practices, advocating for measures such as mandatory background checks for producers and managers, stricter enforcement of labor laws governing minors, and the establishment of independent oversight bodies to investigate misconduct claims. These proposals reflect a growing recognition that the current system, rife with loopholes and complicity, has failed countless aspiring talents over the years. Social media platforms have become battlegrounds where opinions collide, reflecting the polarized reactions to Kutcher's revelations. On one side, supporters rally behind hashtags like "Protect Our Artists" and "Break the Silence," emphasizing the urgent need for systemic change. They argue that silence equals complicity and urge fans to demand better from the stars they admire. Conversely, skeptics dismiss the allegations as opportunistic attempts to gain attention or settle scores, questioning the timing and motivations behind Kutcher's decision to come forward now. Behind the scenes, studios and record labels find themselves scrambling to re-evaluate internal policies and safeguard reputations amid mounting scrutiny. Executives are reportedly drafting new guidelines aimed at preventing burnout and ensuring proper support systems are in place for young artists. Navigating the treacherous waters of fame, some companies have gone so far as to implement age restrictions on certain types of contracts, recognizing the unique challenges faced by minors thrust into the limelight too soon. These efforts represent significant departures from previous norms, signaling a potential sea change in how the industry approaches talent development and management. However, skepticism persists among critics who warn against conflating performative activism with genuine progress. They argue that without sustained commitment and meaningful action, these initiatives risk devolving into empty gestures meant to placate public outrage rather than address root causes. Indeed, past attempts at reform have faltered due to entrenched interests unwilling to relinquish privilege or confront uncomfortable truths. Whether this moment proves different hinges largely on whether stakeholders prioritize long-term cultural shifts over short-term optics. Public discourse has also shifted, with audiences increasingly holding celebrities accountable for speaking out about their experiences. Fans demand transparency, viewing silence as tantamount to endorsement of harmful norms. This cultural shift places additional pressure on stars to address controversies head-on, lest they risk alienating supporters or appearing indifferent to larger societal issues perpetuated by the very industry under fire. In the midst of this chaos, unexpected alliances have formed as artists unite under the banner of advocacy and reform. Veteran performers who endured similar hardships in their youth have joined forces with emerging talents, sharing resources and strategies for navigating the pitfalls of fame. Collaborative projects aimed at raising awareness about mental health and promoting safe working conditions have gained traction, fueled by a shared commitment to creating a more equitable future for the next wave of entertainers. These grassroots movements serve as powerful counterpoints to institutional resistance, demonstrating the strength of solidarity in driving meaningful change. Legal experts predict a rise in litigation related to parental mismanagement and negligence in the entertainment sector. As more individuals come forward with allegations of mistreatment, lawyers anticipate a wave of lawsuits targeting negligent guardians and exploitative organizations. These cases could set important precedents, clarifying the legal obligations of parents and managers entrusted with guiding young careers. If successful, they might pave the way for stronger protections and recourse options for victims of abuse, marking a pivotal moment in the fight for justice. Looking ahead, the implications of this feud promise to reshape not only individual trajectories, but also the very fabric of celebrity culture. Future generations of artists may find themselves operating under radically different conditions, shaped by the lessons learned from past mistakes. Whether viewed as a cautionary tale or a call to arms, the saga of Kutcher and Diddy stands as a testament to the enduring complexity of human relationships and the indelible mark left by those brave enough, or unfortunate enough, to challenge the status quo. As the dust begins to settle, or rather refuses to settle, it becomes clear that this saga will leave lasting marks on both individual careers and the broader cultural landscape. For Kutcher, the road ahead promises to be fraught with challenges. Legal experts suggest that regardless of the outcome, the sheer scale of media attention generated by this dispute has already altered public perception in ways that may prove difficult to reverse. The extensive documentation of every accusation, rebuttal, and meme ensures that this chapter of his life will be analyzed and referenced for years to come, shaping how similar situations are handled moving forward. From a psychological perspective, the toll of this prolonged public battle cannot be overstated. Both Kutcher and Diddy must contend with the emotional wear and tear of being at the center of such intense scrutiny. Therapists specializing in working with high-profile clients note that the constant barrage of opinions, whether supportive or critical, can lead to heightened anxiety, paranoia, and even identity crises as individuals struggle to reconcile their private selves with their public images. The implications for Hollywood's broader culture of accountability are equally significant. This feud highlights the precarious balance between calling out perceived hypocrisy and engaging in character assassination, raising important questions about the ethics of public discourse in an era where cancel culture and public shaming have become prevalent tools for holding individuals accountable. The case of Kutcher versus Diddy underscores the fine line between justified criticism and outright vilification, forcing both fans and industry insiders to confront uncomfortable truths about how we handle disputes in the public eye. One of the most significant implications of this feud lies in its potential to reshape how power dynamics are addressed within the entertainment world. By dragging these allegations into the open regardless of their veracity, those testifying against Kutcher have inadvertently sparked conversations about privilege, access, and the uneven playing field that exists behind the scenes. For instance, if claims of favoritism or manipulation prove true, they could serve as a catalyst for reform, prompting studios, agents, and producers to reevaluate how decisions are made and who benefits from them. However, there's also the risk that this kind of public reckoning devolves into spectacle rather than substance. Critics argue that the current climate incentivizes sensationalism over resolution, encouraging individuals to air grievances not out of principle but for clout or revenge. In Kutcher's case, some wonder whether the testimonies leveled against him stem from genuine harm or jealousy over his success, a question that complicates efforts to discern truth from fabrication. Moreover, the psychological toll of such disputes cannot be underestimated. While figures like Kutcher may appear untouchable due to their wealth and influence, the constant scrutiny takes a toll, with mental health professionals warning of burnout, anxiety, and even depression among celebrities embroiled in prolonged controversies. Conversely, those coming forward must also grapple with the consequences of speaking out, knowing full well that doing so might invite backlash or jeopardize future opportunities. The ripple effects extend beyond individual careers, influencing broader cultural attitudes toward fame and redemption. Audiences today demand authenticity from their idols, yet paradoxically, they're quick to tear down anyone perceived as falling short of perfection. This catch-22 creates an environment where no one wins. Celebrities feel pressured to present flawless personas, while fans oscillate between idolization and disillusionment, depending on the latest scandal. In the midst of this turmoil, some see an opportunity for meaningful change. Advocates for greater accountability argue that high-profile feuds like this can serve as teachable moments, encouraging both stars and their supporters to reflect on deeper issues such as empathy, forgiveness, and the importance of separating art from artist. Others remain skeptical, viewing these episodes as mere distractions from larger societal problems perpetuated by the very industry under fire. Ultimately, what makes this saga so compelling and so dangerous is its universality. Whether you side with Kutcher or believe the testimonies against him, the underlying themes resonate far beyond Hollywood's borders. Questions about trust, loyalty, and justice transcend celebrity gossip, tapping into fundamental human concerns about fairness, integrity, and the lengths we're willing to go to protect our reputations or destroy someone else's. As the drama unfolds, one thing remains certain: whoever chooses to testify next will wield immense power not just over Kutcher's legacy, but over the collective conscience of an industry grappling with its own contradictions. Will they opt for restraint, choosing to address grievances privately and allow cooler heads to prevail? Or will they seize the moment, using their platform to amplify allegations that could irreparably damage Kutcher's standing? Whatever path they choose, the repercussions will echo far beyond the confines of this particular feud, shaping the trajectory of accountability in Hollywood for years to come. To understand the gravity of this explosive revelation, it's crucial to delve deeper into the specific claims surrounding Kutcher's alleged trauma and the role Diddy reportedly played in precipitating it. According to insider accounts, the incident unfolded during a particularly volatile phase in Kutcher's life, characterized by mounting pressure to maintain his status as a rising star while simultaneously managing the complexities of adolescence. At the heart of the controversy lies Diddy's reputation for grooming young talents, allegedly using his charisma and influence to exert control over impressionable minds. One particularly harrowing claim centers on the use of controlled substances as tools for manipulation. Witnesses recount how drugs were distributed freely throughout the premises, ostensibly to enhance enjoyment but in reality to render participants more compliant and less likely to resist coercive demands. This tactic reportedly extended to underage attendees, who were plied with alcohol and narcotics, until they reached states of incapacitation. Insiders allege that Diddy monitored consumption closely, ensuring that victims remained sufficiently impaired to comply with his directives, while retaining enough lucidity to remember the humiliation inflicted upon them. Adding another layer of horror to the narrative are allegations involving animal participation in these rituals, a detail so grotesque that it initially seemed implausible to outsiders. Multiple witnesses corroborated Kutcher's claims, stating that animals were sometimes brought into the proceedings, purportedly to heighten the sense of chaos and disorientation. One source recounted how participants were allegedly forced to interact with horses and dogs in ways designed to humiliate and degrade them further. The psychological toll of such experiences cannot be overstated, leaving lasting scars on those subjected to these twisted displays of power. Perhaps most damning of all are the accusations regarding underage individuals allegedly present at some of these gatherings. While Diddy has long denied any wrongdoing, Kutcher insists that minors were occasionally invited, or more accurately, smuggled into these events, raising serious concerns about human trafficking and exploitation. He claims that these young victims, many of whom hailed from impoverished backgrounds in third-world countries, were plied with alcohol and drugs before being thrust into situations they couldn't possibly comprehend or escape. Some insiders have even suggested that the purpose of these rituals went beyond mere sadism, hinting at darker motives tied to occult practices and the harvesting of adrenochrome, a substance rumored to be extracted from traumatized individuals for its supposed rejuvenating properties. The logistics of these operations, as described by Kutcher, point to a meticulously organized network operating under Diddy's watchful eye. Former associates speak of secretive protocols, including encrypted communications and non-disclosure agreements enforced with threats of violence or financial ruin. Those who dared to resist or express discomfort were allegedly met with swift retribution, ranging from professional blacklisting to outright intimidation. It's within this context that Kutcher's decision to finally speak out takes on added significance. His is not merely a tale of personal victimization, but part of a broader pattern of systemic abuse perpetuated by someone with virtually limitless resources at their disposal. Yet amidst the grim litany of accusations, there remains a glimmer of hope. By bringing these dark secrets into the open, Kutcher has sparked a chain reaction among others who've lived through similar nightmares. Their collective courage may yet prove to be Diddy's undoing, as mounting pressure forces authorities to take action against a man whose reach once seemed untouchable. As the drama unfolds, one thing remains certain: whoever chooses to testify next will wield immense power, not just over Kutcher's legacy, but over the collective conscience of an industry grappling with its own contradictions. Will they opt for restraint, choosing to address grievances privately and allow cooler heads to prevail? Or will they seize the moment, using their platform to amplify allegations that could irreparably damage Kutcher's standing? Whatever path they choose, the repercussions will echo far beyond the confines of this particular feud, shaping the trajectory of accountability in Hollywood for years to come.